After waiting an age for 100, Jacques Rudolph scored his second in 2 innings to ensure that there is little to choose from between Glamorgan and Gloucestershire at the halfway stage of their LV County Championship match in Bristol. Thanks to 100 from acting captain Hamish Marshall, Gloucestershire were able to resume on the second morning on 308 for 5, but they quickly lost both overnight batsmen after 17 runs had been added to that total. Tom Smith was guilty of ball watching and thus failing to react to Will Gidman's call quick enough to be run out by Michael Hogan on 16, while Gidman himself edged Jim Allenby behind on 20 to leave the home side on 325 for 7. What a moment this was for 17-year-old Patrick Grieshaber, who should have been playing for Down End Cricket Club yesterday. Instead, he found himself scoring a boundary in the first-class game. Benny Howell was there not only to score runs himself, but also to support the youngster, who must have been nervous. He didn't show too many signs of that, however, and with Howell playing attractively, these two were able to add 36 more runs for the 8th wicket. Grieshaber's maiden innings ended on 10 when he edged a cut off Dean Koska to Allenby after an impressive 48-minute stay at the crease. With just the tail now left, Howell went on the attack, Rory Smith being pulled for a towering 6. Howell had made 47 off 59 balls when he gave Allenby some more catching practice to earn the ever-dependable Hogan his 4th wicket and his 34th of the championship campaign. Matt Taylor then drove Koska to Rudolph at long off as Gloucestershire were all out for 391. Hogan again the pick of their bowlers with the figures of 4 for 57. So half an hour after lunch, Glamorgan began their reply, with Will Bragg striking an early boundary off Taylor. But it was Rudolph who led the way, fresh from his maiden 100 for Glamorgan and his first for anyone in the first-class game since March 2012, made against Kent last week. The South African looked in terrific touch from the start, on a pitch which was another good one to bat on. It was a case of runs, and yet more runs in the last game in Bristol, and although this surface wasn't as benign as that one, it was still one that would have had batsmen queuing around the block for a go. By tea, the two left-handers had eased their way to a total of 78 without loss, with Rudolph on 44, while his partner Bragg was by now also looking good with a string of fine shots. The Welshman could hardly have asked for a better start to their reply, as both men reached their 50s in the evening session. A reverse paddle off the bowling of Smith took Rudolph to the 50 mark for the 5th time this season. That was his 9th 4 as he got to his half-century off 81 balls. These two soon had 100 runs on the board without even the threat of losing a wicket. With the help of a 5, Bragg also was raising his bat 3 overs later. A well-timed flick off Liam Norwell brought him to his 50 off 97 deliveries, that being his 7th boundary. Gloucestershire conceded a 200-plus opening partnership against Surrey last time out, and it looked as if that might happen to them again. Whatever was thrown at these two batsmen, nothing seemed to bother them too much as they advanced their partnership further. Gloucestershire's 391 was beginning to look like a total that was beneath par for this pitch, with none of the home attack gaining any assistance, and when they were just off line or length, Rudolph and Bragg were able to help the ball to the boundary as they took their partnership to 151 in 41 overs. Smith did then remove Bragg for 67 as he failed to miss the fielder at mid-wicket, allowing Chris Dent to take the catch much to the home side's relief. But Rudolph went on and a straight 6 off Smith took him close to the 90s. He was on 94 when he lost Mark Wallace at the other end for 17, Smith having the Glamorgan skipper well held by Will Tavares at short leg. There is probably no better way to get to 3 figures than with an exquisite cover drive, and that's just what Rudolph did as he went to his second 100 in his last 2 championship innings. This was the 48th ton of the South African's excellent career. He'd needed 152 balls for his latest one, from which he'd hit 15 4s and a 6. He may have his eyes set on a very big score indeed as he went to the close still there on 108. In making those, he's put his side in a good place. They will go into the 3rd day still trailing by 182 runs, however, but with 8 wickets in hand and Rudolph batting so well that they will expect to be ahead at some point on day 3. They'll go again on 209 for 2.